Well, I don't see it as an ethical thing from our end. I see it as it's not a question of ethics, it's a question of like, almost being indignant, like, like.
It's not fair.
Like, yeah, who are you to hold us back?
Yeah.
Basically.
And the answer simply is it's not us holding it back, it's the physical limits of the earth. And we caused all that damage and we're sorry and we'll do our best to help you.
But what we need is what they always the Manhattan Project for renewable energy. Why can't we make them like clean running mopeds, like, and give one to every 15-year-old in Africa?
Yeah.
And
ExxonMobil.
And freaking plug-in cars are every major manufacturer has a.
Well, the answer is we haven't declared war yet. We can't have the Manhattan Project unless we have an enemy to use it against. And so the big part of what I do and want to do with the site is push cultural narrative. Like, there's plenty of people that have already written books about climate change and the science. I don't need to rehash that. And there are actually plenty of people that have written really good plans. There are good plans to get us out of this that take a realistic look at where we are and where we want to be and see if we can actually stay below 2 degrees as the governments think that we should, even though it's basically impossible at this point, just mathematically. So I don't need to do that kind of stuff. The focus of the site is really to get the word out and to start pushing the narrative. Like, if I could do these talks in a Captain Planet outfit, I would. Because, there's certain cultural notes that we pick up on and run with and internalize, and other ones that we just forget about. And boring, cold science is not going to do it. It's going to have to be changed at the dinner table with people talking about this stuff. So Hurricane Sandy was a big deal, and I honestly thought it would be a bigger deal and hang around. And the drought, is out in the Midwest, and people don't see it. Like, if it's not happening to you in your neighborhood, to you or to someone you know, it's easier to ignore.
But I appreciate that. I'm particularly interested in really getting into this sort of conversational part of this discussion because,
we're in it.
Will has already, brought a unique perspective to the conversation based on, his understanding of the law and how that will apply.
I like that.
I'm excited for this gentleman to talk because he has a more philosophical point of view, and I think that really plays an important role here. And then I have, and I like that accent.
You sound like you're introducing all the speakers. I like this.
I'm not doing it on purpose.
You can do like a
but I anticipate this is the final cut. And then I'm obviously coming at it from a politics point of view, and I'm not trying to say that my point of view is the most worthwhile, but mine is the one that
realistic,
that is gonna be the one that is actionable.
Yeah.
And you mentioned just now that you were surprised that Sandy didn't have a greater impact, and the reason for that is that we had an election 8 days later.
Yeah.
It may have had an impact, actually.
That's debatable, but you're right about that. And to take that out a little bit further, I think it did have an impact based on the president's speech yesterday. I don't think that's a pre-Sandy speech that they were. I don't think they were sitting on that speech. I think that he was very moved, the president, by what he saw. And even though he's clearly made a tactical decision to govern from the left instead of to try and govern for the remainder of his time as the leader of the free world from, this unenviable position of like in a bunker in the middle of a hostile Congress, he's going to try and like put forth some kind of an assault from the left, and he gave a lot of time in his very short speech to these particular issues.
It's true.
The best analysis says that is the direct result of what he saw last October.
I hope so. I mean, he also made a lot of these claims at the beginning of his first term too, and so
this was the day when the ocean stopped rising.
Yeah, I mean, the environmental community is fairly disillusioned.
You can talk about his intentions as much as you want, and I admire him for his intentions because I do believe what he says when he says it. That has no impact, though, on his ability to accomplish anything. because the Congress is still elected every 2 years, and that is the fundamental problem with governance in this United States of America, is that the Congress is elected every 2 years.
Yeah.
Not only do they have no capacity for thinking out to 2050, they are thinking specifically in the first week of the new legislative session about 2014, and it blows.
We are a short-term species.